On this episode of O'Fallon Matters, an update from O'Fallon City Administrator. Another milestone has been achieved in the construction of the Page Avenue Extension, and a program that is helping local veterans get the skills they need to compete in today's job market. Next on O'Fallon Matters. Hi, I'm Dave Burkhart, your host for O'Fallon Matters. The City of O'Fallon recently joined MoDOT on a special ribbon cutting on Bryan Road. Here's Joe Meyer with that story.
O'Fallon's roadway of the future is being constructed at a rapid pace. In fact, officials recently had a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the new Route 364 Bryan Road Bridge and the new section of Route N and Stump Road.
We probably could have a few more of these ribbon cuttings. We might even have 17 because that's how enthusiastic people are about this project and how important it is to the region.
It is an honor to be here today representing the over 80,000 residents of O'Fallon. And I just want to say, let's get this ribbon cut and let's get the businesses and the corridors here, let's get them done and opened up so we can all help St. Charles County. Let's get this ribbon cut. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
This project is part of Phase 3 of the Route 364 Page Extension, a $118.2 million roadway project that includes construction of a 4-lane divided highway from Mid-Rivers Mall Drive to I-64 and Route N in St. Charles County. The county and its municipalities teamed together to fund the $57 million project, with MoDOT funding coming in at $61.2 million. Construction began in May of 2013, and this is the second piece to open in the first 6 months of construction.
It's another step in the process, another milestone that's been reached on the Page Extension project. So it's a very good improvement that we are able to flow traffic better and get some better mobility out in St. Charles County.
This job couldn't have happened without the help of the county, and the cities. They all helped put in money, and the county this was a cost share, so they're helping fund part of this project. So, I mean, that kind of cooperation is how these things come together. And like I said, the city has put in money for the enhancements, and all the other cities have put in money for this project too.
So where does the project go from here?
Well, the next step is that the contractor's still working on, they've got 9 miles of roadway to build, so they've been working on bridges up and down the corridor, retaining walls, a lot of movement of earth this year, and they still have a lot of earth to still move, and then
there'll probably be a few more bridges, as you heard today, and they'll have it done about a year from now.
Stay tuned to future episodes of O'Fallon Matters and get the latest construction updates on Phase 3 of the Page Avenue Extension.
Heroin addiction can affect all walks of life, but local organizations, schools, and our own police department are working together to stop it. Here's Brett Figgis with more.
Each time we get a new case for heroin overdoses, kids are getting younger and younger.
Everyone happens to know somebody who's using heroin, but nobody talks about it and nobody addresses it.
It's here, we can't bury our heads, we need to address it, and we need to educate our children.
It's reaching all ages, all genders. It's not necessarily out just in the city anymore, it's out here in our community in St. Charles County.
But the kids all have access to it.
Because of the availability and the pricing of it, people are always looking for that new and next high, the better high.
And unfortunately, it can be lethal.
my enemy is heroin, and I underestimated this, and it beat me, and it took my daughter's life.
Every day in the United States, 4,000 children and young adults start experimenting with prescription drugs. Abusing these opiates can lead to experimentation with one of the deadliest opiates of all, heroin. It's a rising problem in St. Charles County, and it's even affecting us here in O'Fallon, both on the streets and in our schools. The Vigna family is in many ways a perfectly typical family. Guy Vigna runs her own business here in O'Fallon, and her daughter Brittany is concerned with life after college. But they're also dealing with a terrible tragedy, one no family should face, yet is becoming more and more common throughout the United States.
We lost our daughter, Nikki Vigna, January 3rd to a heroin overdose. And we had no idea, and when we first found out that she had gotten involved with this, we had no idea that she was using heroin.
Nikki Vigna struggled with her addiction over the next few years, but every time she got clean, it seemed like she fell back into bad habits. It's a vicious cycle that plays out for every heroin user.
It's the effects that it has on your brain. It's highly addictive, and not per se just the drug itself, but what it does inside your body. It affects your limbic system, which is your rewards center. So what happens is, normally when you get something to eat, when your body tells you you're hungry, instead of telling your body that you're hungry, it tells your body that you need more heroin.
Avoiding withdrawal keeps heroin users hooked, but as money runs out, many heroin users turn to crime to get their next fix. And because heroin is now cheaper than marijuana, it's easier than ever for our kids to get. After losing Nikki, Guy found out just how prevalent an issue heroin really is.
I was always a walker, and so I was walking throughout the neighborhood, and I just printed up a shirt that just said "Stop Heroin" and started walking. And I had a neighbor stop me one day, and she told me then that her son had been involved with this for the past 12 years. And the next day I started walking, and another neighbor stopped me and told me that her nephew had been involved with this for 3 years.
After that, the Vignas had found a way to turn their personal tragedy into a way to help other families. They created a page on Facebook, and soon they were being contacted by families throughout the country.
Whenever I started the page, it was just basically our family and friends started liking it. But after our first walk, people that we didn't even know had just seen us on the streets and literally just Googled us and found our Facebook page. After our first walk, we had 75 new likes, which is crazy. It was within an hour.
A whole community sprung up around their walks as people were finally finding their voice about the way heroin had torn their families apart. But with troubling new statistics coming out of the Drug Enforcement Administration, they knew they had to reach a younger audience.
DEA reported a 13-year-old as a full-blown heroin addict, so obviously if it's reaching 13-year-olds, we need to come to the middle schools and inform them that it's okay to say no, and that it will grip your life even if you just try it once.
The Vignas teamed up with the Fort Zumwalt School District and the DEA to perform talks at our middle schools to help stop heroin addiction before it starts. It's a message that our school district officials really believe in.
Once someone starts with heroin, then there's no backing out of that gracefully. And so I believe that kids haven't or don't know the ramifications of the addiction factor. So I think we're just kind of sitting ducks, and our families are, and that's, again, why we want to get the word out.
And for all of you, don't be afraid to say something about it. Don't be afraid to say, stop heroin. We need to stop it. It is a problem.
Brittany is also working with Dr. Carter to produce educational segments on substance abuse, which can be found on the district's webpage. She and her mom have come a long way from their first walk in memory of Nikki, but their journey isn't over until every family has heard their message.
Not even once.
It's not even once.
Not even once. It's not something that you can, what I always tell kids is that heroin is not a social drug. You cannot go out and you cannot try it one time and you're addicted.
If you need help, want to join a walk, or just need someone to talk to, visit www.stopheroin.org and the Fort Zumwalt School District homepage. Talk with your family about the risks of heroin, open the discussion, and don't let addiction continue to be a silent threat in our community.
Our next story highlights a local jobs program that provides employment, vocational training, and technology skills to area veterans seeking help in the mainstream job market.
The Veterans Curation Program provides local returning veterans with much needed work. Each veteran works to rehabilitate archaeological collections owned or administered by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
This was created in 2009. The stimulus program that was put together by President Obama and Congress asked for new and unusual programs that we could get people back to work. And our office had been thinking about it for many years of how could we do something to help veterans. I'd just come back from Iraq and I wanted to help veterans. And so I thought, stimulus program, let's put in a proposal and see if they'll go for it.
I would go groundstone with it because they're right here.
This program's mission is clear-cut.
It's twofold. We are able to accomplish the Corps of Engineers mission to manage and rehabilitate the archaeological collections that are owned or administered by the Army Corps of Engineers, as well as to help veterans who want to get back into the workforce and are seeking that entry-level job.
Participants in the VCP develop practical skills for the workforce.
They deal with artifacts processing, they can do archives processing. We have a photo station where they learn digital forensic photography skills. Every station is geared towards a specific task or a skill that they can obtain.
We're training data entry skills, we're training kind of time management skills, how to write reports, access Microsoft Office, as well as just interacting in a civilian workplace and what you can and can't really say.
You see all the little roots and the pieces of wood in there?
Since June of 2003, the VCP has employed 104 veterans. The program has made a huge difference in the lives of our local veterans.
It has helped me get my foot in the door, and it helped me obtain the internship that I currently have here with the Corps of Engineers, and it's been extremely helpful.
With the Veterans Curation Program, they not only give you the skills that you need to succeed, but they're going to help you find placement in an occupation that you want to be successful in yourself.
This helped me get back into a working environment. Prior to that, I had not worked for quite a while due to physical disabilities. And it got me back into a daily schedule of working, back into a teamwork and working towards goals. And the next thing I knew, I was applying for other jobs and landed a full-time position.
How many tags have you gotten now?
There's like 600 in here.
So who is eligible for the VCP program?
Discharged post 9/11 veterans. With that said, every lab has had other veterans from other eras work there. We really like to look at who wants to be part of this program and who we feel needs to be part of this program, as well as who wants to actively participate in the program.
If you are a local veteran interested in this program, you can visit www.veteranscurationprogram.org.
We want them to come and be a part of this program if they're interested in it. I think it's really challenging. We have a really great staff that's really invigorated.
There was a political cartoon that I saw, and it showed soldiers coming off a plane and walking into an unemployment line. And that's not the way we want to treat our veterans. And we want to be able to set them up for success in whatever endeavors they pursue.
Do this one.
It's time for a break. When we come back, we'll discover one of O'Fallon's top service groups. Then we'll sit down with a sister who's been serving her community for almost 50 years. Stay with us for O'Fallon Matters. Welcome back to O'Fallon Matters. Now we'll continue last month's conversation with City Administrator Bonnie Therian and get her understanding on the direction of the city.
This community in particular, because I mean there's lots of challenges just being a manager, but I think this community in particular, I find it something that I'm learning a lot, which was very important to me in taking a new position. But it's a fast-growing community, and it grew so fast that there's so many things that we still have to change to adapt to the big size of this community growing so quickly, like transportation and street issues and congestion. Economic development is big here, and I find economic development really fun as a manager. So I found that to be something that is challenging, but also very, very exciting for me. I also see the challenge, obviously, is we have some upcoming bond issues that may be moving forward. So we have the new police station, Justice Center, which will include the courts, and Civic Park and O'Day Park. So those are big, huge projects that are a challenge, but are very, very fun because you're actually able to grow the city into things that are really needed. Now, the budget is always a challenge, but I think what's a great opportunity for me here is you have different ways to fund local government. And in Connecticut, it was 100% the property tax. So at least there's a little bit of different ways that you can come together to get a good budget. And I think on a personal level, it's a heck of a lot cheaper out here than it is back home, that's for sure, in almost every single aspect. So that's been a pleasant thing to see gasoline this low. I see this community still growing. Economic development is going to be a key play. I see us really doing a lot more with downtown. That's one of the chief priorities. And certainly in 5 years, you're not going to see a whole total different downtown because it doesn't happen that quickly. But I can see that we are going to put together that plan, start working with the businesses and the area around City Hall, and really try to promote a lot more with the downtown area. And I think the other thing is really getting a better feel on the finances and where we're going to head. One of the things I want to do with the council, and they've agreed to, is develop core services. What are the core services for this city in the future? So if we ever get into an economic downturn again, we're going to know what our chief and our priority services are to our citizens, and it'll be a lot easier putting those budgets together. So it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
This next volunteer group is looking to change the world, one child and one community at a time.
The Kiwanis Club of O'Fallon, Missouri was chartered way back in August of 1961 at the Assumption Catholic Church Auditorium. Ever since then, local O'Fallon members have given their time and expertise for a simple concept.
Well, the mission of Kiwanis is to take care of children, to help out children both locally and worldwide. We're a worldwide organization. Kiwanis International is a world. Its center is in Indianapolis, Indiana, but it's in many, many countries, and that is what our mission is, to help children of the world and especially children locally.
Today, Kiwanis has a budget of over $12,000, and they contribute 100% of the monies raised to charitable and educational organizations that serve the greater O'Fallon and West St. Charles County areas.
We have 3 major fundraisers. Of course, the pancake dinner we're having today is one of our major fundraisers, and at this time of year, it's important to have those funds available if anyone comes to us, crisis nursery, any of our churches in the area, food pantries, if they're in need, we have the money available to help them out as much as we can.
The Kiwanis Club strives to build better communities.
But we think it's important to have somebody like us because things wouldn't be getting done, there wouldn't be scholarships given, there wouldn't be money donated to various organizations, and we feel that's very important to have that function. And we help out other organizations. We also donate money to the Senior Center, which is not for children, but it's also a local organization that we help out.
I feel just some way, you know, that with a good group of guys and ladies too now, that you can make money and be part of the community and give back some of the assets, you know, we've got.
It's never too late to join the Kiwanis Club of O'Fallon.
We enjoy having people come to our meetings. They're every Thursday at 12 noon at JJ's Restaurant off of Veterans Memorial, almost right next to Fort Zumwalt Park. So it's right there in that area. They have great food, they take good care of us, and we'll pick up the tab if you come to see what we do and what we've got to say, and we'd just love to see you there.
If you want to know more on the O'Fallon Kiwanis Club, visit their website at www.ofkiwanis.com. Or you can like them on Facebook by going to www.facebook.com/O'Fallon.Kiwanis.
Now it's time to meet a fascinating sister that continues to give back to the community, one good deed at a time.
Sister Carol Boschert dedicates her life to God and humanity. Carol has spent almost 50 years with the Sisters of the Most Precious Blood here in O'Fallon.
Entered the community on August 26, 1962, 4 days before my 18th birthday. And I just felt a call from when I was in kindergarten to be a sister. And since my last contact with Sisters was Precious Blood, that's why I entered here.
After a brief stint as a teacher, Carol decided that nursing would be her calling.
And from there, my life just changed dramatically. I worked in the infirmary for several years. Then I went to Peru because there was a native Peruvian in the community at the time who had left the community, and they needed a nurse and knew I would never go a foreign country teaching. So I went as a nurse, and that was a wonderful experience.
When Carol came back from Peru, she attended St. Louis University, where she received a physician's assistant degree. After receiving her degree, Carol spent 9.5 years in Texas running Spanish-speaking clinics.
And after that, I went looking again for work. I landed in Beardstown, Illinois, which is an hour west of Springfield, because they were looking to open a Spanish clinic, because there were Cargill packing plant up there, so they had a lot of Hispanics. So that's where I was for 2 years.
In 2004, the Sisters of the Most Precious Blood nominated Carol to their leadership council.
Those were some good years because it gave me a broader vision. I was able to go and visit a lot of sisters in their workplaces, in their homes. I was the contact for Bolivia, so I got to go to Bolivia. So that was a good experience.
Besides her duties with the Sisters, she also gives back to the city of O'Fallon, where she is a member of the CERT team, and she also served on O'Fallon's Senior Advisory Committee. Carol even volunteers for the Heritage and Freedom Fest. Plus, the city calls on her several times a year to give the invocation at council meetings. But Carol's real passion is in healthcare.
Helping people. Bottom line is helping people and helping them try to stay healthy, preventing obesity. And down in Presidio, we had a wonderful program which my community supported for diabetics, and we hired a person to work with the diabetics, and it was wonderful, and the people were so appreciative of any little thing you did for them.
Over the years, Carol has been blessed with a good education and a wealth of great experiences.
One of the blessings, I think, of community is because you have the backing of the sisters, and so if you say, well, I think I'd like to go in the PA program, you know, you just talk to the powers that be and get that permission, and it's all paid for. You know, it's wonderful. You know, the number of sisters who have had contacts with people, you know, they've touched people's hearts. And I think that's what we do without even making an effort at it. We just are who we are, and it touches people, and we make a difference in people's lives. And I think I learned that from everybody I've ever lived with. But life has been a blessing.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. If you have a good story idea, let us know. You can email us at OFallonTV@ofallon.mo.us. Please remember to give back to your community because O'Fallon matters to all of us.